headed to a networking event at Edmonton Unlimited, which is an organization in the region that's part of the Edmonton Region Innovation Network that works with startups and businesses on, activating in terms of marketing, sales, finding funding. And yeah, just heading to a coffee networking event this morning right downtown. So let's see how it goes. And I want to be very clear. I don't speak for Edmonton Region Defence Alliance or any of the organizations. I don't speak for Edmonton Global. I don't speak for Edmonton Unlimited. I'm just out here on the street assessing everything that's going on to kind of develop that situational awareness of the Alliance and its goals and aims and all of that. So yeah, I don't speak for any of them. Everything that I'm saying or, putting out there is based on my own interpretation. And yes, I do try to pull stuff off their websites and read news releases, but I don't have them here. Doing it off the top of my head, I'll get some things incorrect. But again, the intention here is not to create harm or do harm. The intention is to amplify the good news and also create some accountability, right? There's got to be some accountability outside the traditional media, the politics, the grant fund applications, all that. So that's what I'm doing. Not sure what happened to my sound on the camera, but it cut out for this clip. Anyway, Edmonton Unlimited is located right in the heart of Edmonton on Jasper Avenue at 101st Street. And, leading up to it, it's a very centralized spot, right? This is the Edmonton Unlimited building. It's quite a large building. And if you look just to the east in the direction I'm walking, you'll see the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute is right next door. I attended the community coffee event at Edmonton Unlimited, and I didn't take any photos or video inside, mostly because I didn't really read their terms of policy on, if you can film inside or not. But it's a very nice facility, massive sort of networking kitchen area. They've got a cafe area with like 3 coffee makers, 4 dishwashers. They were serving bagels and things like that. So really great place to come together with a community. While I was at the networking event, I met with some AI developers. I met with a young man who's doing sort of this laser engraving business on, metals, where you can get like your pets memorialized on them. Talked to another gentleman that was just there looking for help on how to take his prototype and, move it to the next level within a tech stack. So, there's good diversity there, lots of young people. It was great to talk to young people that are just really, grinding out and wanting to start something up fantastic and contribute to the economy, to the country, and just make a life for themselves. Before I move on to the Edmonton Global visit I did on the same trip, also what I'll be doing on the Patreon is structuring some live streams around this topic for those that want to get additional insight and information as we move along in our assessment of what's going on in Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada, the North and the Arctic, in the defense industry. While I was at Edmonton Unlimited, I made a quick stop at Edmonton Global here in the ATB Place building at Jasper Ave, where I popped in to just kind of take a look at their operations and, see if there was someone there I could speak to, and I did. But of course, I haven't gone through their communications and marketing department, so I didn't take any shots in there, and I'm not going to go too far deep into, what was said. But, what I'm really doing here in this Defence Alliance ecosystem for Edmonton Region and Alberta is, as I assess the alliance and its operations and take a look at the greater system as to how are we going to build climate change resilience, supply chain disruption resilience, and adapt, especially at the tier 2 and 3 levels, right? I'm not necessarily, I would hope that prime contractors and subcontractors have their shit sorted out, but based on the University of Waterloo's report, which I did a podcast on regarding resilience and adaptation in the supply chain in Canada and globally, addressing and seeing the vulnerabilities within the supply chain and those tier 2 and 3, those local providers in Edmonton, is going to be critical. And as I do my field assessment on this and put together my reporting, I'm hoping that, also through some insight and foresight, there's some opportunity to identify vulnerabilities that are still unseen. And, that's something that I'll be working on here over the next couple of months as I find my way through the changing landscape that's going on, not only in Edmonton and Alberta, but Canada. And I think if you listen to Mark Carney's talk in Australia at the Alawi Institute, he talked a little bit about those partnerships that we need to develop, that you've got to have those boundaries, right? It's so important. So, for example, having a relationship with China, it's he considers it low risk because it's a very, small piece of everything, right? The risk is low. Those boundaries have been set up, and they're being set up with India and Australia and other countries that we're going to be engaging with. So people like me, people at the local level, companies at the local level in Canada, have an opportunity to engage in that greater system. But, again, as I kind of navigate all of this, wayfind it, because I don't really have a map or compass so much. I'm just looking for signals and signs to develop that map and that network. But it's going to be critical, right? Because, there's a lot of money and resources in Edmonton, and we tend to really centralize a lot of that and disperse it based on usually some very rigid criteria, right, that meets the government strategy. So helping the tier 2, 3 level understand those strategies, how they can augment their operations or adjust their operations to fit those strategies is going to be something that we look into as we continue to complete our assessment of the defense industry viability, risk, landscape, hazardscape in the region. I'm reminded of the fact about, convergence during disasters and crisis, because large entities like the government, big national, international organizations, big not-for-profits, there's always a time where the local capacity, the social connections, the cultural piece can act really fast. And they can put out information, news, insight, commentary a lot more quickly because they don't have to go through, for example, I don't have to go through a bureaucratic communications team and marketing team. I can kind of just come out in the street right now, do this video, have it up on YouTube in minutes. As the Edmonton Region Defence Alliance and all the big entities kind of move forward, they're going to have to also understand that someone like me is going to come out and amplify what they're doing quite quickly. And if their messaging isn't super accessible, then they're going to fall behind a little bit. And that's not to say that I'm going to come out and post slop and garbage and all of that, but definitely they're out there now. They're going to be in the limelight. They're working on working with a sort of a task force at the Alberta government level, the Canada level, the international level. And they're going to have to be quick because, what I'm doing is going to spread quickly. It's going to, I can maneuver and be nimble. They've got to be ready for this kind of thing, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they manage it, how they bring people in like me at the local level who are here to help, sincerely, genuinely help, but also to help make sure that they are including Indigenous voices, that they're thinking about women and children, thinking about groups that maybe they're not engaged with, and then thinking about how to deal with vulnerability on so many levels and how they're going to support the local level in that. Convergence is coming. See how the system reacts. Something to watch for.